Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to all of the argument and teaching this word with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from the GMS England London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. As always, I like to begin by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians and West Africans predominantly, but you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations because we have been scattered amongst all nations through our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because Numbers 1:18 tells you that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I've got a little article here. It popped up on my, when I was looking for a topic to do a lesson on, it popped up as an article that I had seen in the past, but I forgot to speak on at the time I saw it. So this is actually from April 27th, which is just over a month and a bit ago. But it's still relevant because it's still something that can be edifying. It's from BBC News, and it says Pope Francis gives women historic right to vote at meeting. Now, this is totally off according to the scriptures, because if you imagine that the Pope is supposedly the head of the, Catholic Church, the scriptures are completely against this, because it is not allowed for a woman to speak in church. It's a shame for a woman to speak in the church. What is it? 2 Corinthians 11? Let me get it quickly. Women are supposed to be in silence in the church. Corinthians. Was it 1 Corinthians? Bear with me a second. Just looking for this precept. 1 Corinthians. There you go. Hold on a second, just bringing up a precept. Bear with me, Salakia. There we go. 1 Timothy 2:12. There we go. This is a good one, but it's not exactly the one I want. Although I'm going to come back to this in a second. Let me get 1 Timothy 2:12. It says, start from verse 9. 1 Timothy 2:9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, not with shamefacedness. Sorry, forgive me a second. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becoming women professing godliness with good works. Here we go. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and with holiness and sobriety. So the woman is to be in silence and to learn in silence with all subjection. Let me go to the dictionary briefly a second. Subjection, that word. Get into it. Forgive me. I'm yawning. Subjection. Subjection definition number 7 is the one: a person who is under the dominion or rule of a sovereign. So the man is supposed to be lord over the woman, and as such, the woman is considered sovereign over. Sorry, the man is. Let me slow down. I don't want to say that incorrectly. The woman is supposed to be in subjection to the man. The man is supposed to be sovereign over the woman. So therefore, for them to allow women to vote means that she has an opportunity to usurp the authority of men. Because let's say you've got 10 men and 10 women and they cast a vote. Let's use this example. Let's say you've got 10 men and 10 women, right? And they have a vote, and 9 men vote one way, and 1 man and 10 women vote the opposite way. That means that the women have usurped authority over the rulership of the men because their vote was able to sway the judgment. Now, this is off according to the scriptures. So let's get to the article and we'll round it out with these precepts. So get back to it. The Pope will for the first time allow women to vote at an influential global meeting of bishops in October. So this article is through the Spirit, I guess. I thought I was speaking on it a bit late, but it's still relevant because this hasn't taken place yet. It's going to take place in October. A move that has been welcomed as a historic first. The new rules announced on Wednesday will give 5 religious sisters voting rights as the Synod, which is a papal advisory body. In the past, women were only allowed to attend gatherings as observers, which goes back to the precepts I said before. Men will still cast the majority of the votes at the influential gathering, but it doesn't matter, man, because this is disorderly. And what does the scripture say? Is it 1 Corinthians 14 verse 40? I believe. Let me check it. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 40. It says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." Yeah, that's the exact precept I wanted. Let all things be done decently and in order, because the Most High is not the author of confusion, but what Esau is bringing about is confusion in itself by allowing this to happen. So it says, nevertheless, the reforms are seen as a significant shift for the Roman Catholic Church, which has been male-dominated for centuries. But that's the way the order is supposed to be set up. When Yahushua gave the keys of the kingdom to Peter, he gave them to Peter. He didn't give it to no woman. He gave it to Peter, and the church was supposed to be set up in order. Now, if I go to John 17, Yahushua talks about the men which the Most High gave him. Let's get that, John 17. John 17 and verse 6. I have manifested thy name unto the men. Let's read that again. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. So this is to men. The scriptures also say, my voice is to the sons of men. So this ministry isn't for the women. The women can support the ministry and learn in silence, but they've got no office in terms of decision making and stuff like, and leadership. That's not the role of the woman, man. Now there are many faithful women who followed Yahushua back in the day, and they supported, but they done the things that a woman is supposed to do. Which would be, I suppose, ministering unto the men. When I say ministering, I mean serving, like, maybe bringing the apostles food or making them garments or stuff like that. They had no business in, the actual office of the running of the church. That's not their lot. That's not the portion of a woman. The woman is supposed to serve the man. So, getting back to the article, it says, the US-based Women's Ordinance Conference, which advocates for women priests, has called the reform as a as a significant crack in a stained glass ceiling. What the fuck are you talking about, man? For years, Vatican representatives and bishops resisted moving the goalposts with every synod as to why women were not allowed to vote. There's no moving of no goalposts, man. The word's Lord is as it is. The group wrote on Twitter the unspoken reason was always sexism. No, it's just the way the Most High ordained it. In the near future, we hope that the synod continues to develop into a fully representative body of the people of God. Do you know what that means? They're going to start trying to put transgender people up in there. They're going to start trying to put homosexuals up in there, saying that they're people of God and they should be allowed to represent him in voting and shit like that. That's basically what this is leading to. But Lord willing, Yahushua comes back and destroys this bullshit before it goes too much further. It says, in a further break with tradition, Pope Francis announced that the voting rights would also be extended to 70 handpicked non-clerical members of the religious community, moving the synod away from being a meeting solely of church hierarchy. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're going to let... The Roman Catholic Church is off anyway, but let me just put this into context. It's like going out into the street and picking 70 random motherfuckers, right? And letting them make decisions on how the church should be run. Nah, man, you're supposed to give this word to men that are worthy. You know, what did the scripture say? Do not cast your pearls before swine. So how are you going to go out there and let so-called secular, worldly people vote and make decisions on how your church should be run? This is a complete travesty. Although the Roman Catholic Church is completely off anyway. But imagine this was, the Tabernacle of David, actually conducting themselves in this manner. This is complete and utter confusion. Anyway, so it says, the Pope has championed reform. The Pope who has championed reform has said that he hopes half of these will be women. Oh, madness. And there's also been an emphasis on including young people. But you know what? Young people aren't fucking intelligent, man. The aged men are supposed to be the men of wisdom, men of experience. It's like, again, imagine conducting this ministry where we instead of the elders and apostles and bishops making church decisions, imagine they went out into the street and started grabbing random niggers, random Jake off the street, and then putting them in charge and saying, okay, well, how do you think we should run things in the ministry? When they're not proven. Before you get a friend, you're supposed to prove that person, and scope people out. Observe, be circumspect. You don't just put random motherfuckers in charge of a thing. See, Esau would never do this in his fucking businesses. Like, let's say he's working in a corporation and he recruits some new staff. Then on their first day, it's like, okay, well, how do you think we should run our business? When it comes to money, Esau don't play like that. But when it comes to this church, because he's all about destroying the work of God and eroding people's faith in God. So this is exactly Esau's modus operandi. Dare I use that phrase? So let's finish this out. It says, it is an important change. It is not a revolution, said Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollenrich, a top organizer of the synod. Christopher Lamb, Vatican correspondent for the Catholic news publication The Tablet, told BBC's World Service News Hour program that the changes were highly significant and an attempt by the Pope to make decisions about the church's future more inclusive. See what I'm saying? They're going to try and bring all flipping transgenders and sodomites up in there. But they're already up in there, but they're just in disguise. But they want to reveal themselves. He added that the reforms concerning women are reflected as an unprecedented dialogue over the issue of female representation that has been happening for some time. But Mr. Lamb predicted that the Pope would face significant resistance from some parts of the church over the latest decision. So, I think I've pretty much made the point on that. Go back to the precept I was holding. Here's the precept that I told him before. 1 Timothy 2, verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and in charity and with holiness and sobriety. Case closed, man. End of story. There's no getting around it, man. If you go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, you can't go wrong. So it's evident that these precepts aren't being adhered to in that Roman Catholic Church. So therefore, there's no reason for anybody to believe in that institution or follow them if they're seeking the truth. So with that, giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKadosh. Double honours unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to all the Akim teaching this word with faith and truth and sincerity. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now. Wa ba 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 wa koi Shalom.